if it wants to work. It seems to be taking an awful long time
So
to set up.
this is going on YouTube, or is it like
Yes,
because the link was you? Oh,
there you
okay.
go. And I believe we are now live, finally.
Uh,
Excellent. Well, hello everybody watching from home. Sorry it took us a moment or two. Zoom and YouTube were like having a moment, and so was my microphone. But we hope that you're all doing really good. And well, we're gonna get started with this interview. So, a very quick introduction in case you guys don't know who we are. This is Dr. Lilian Cespedes Gonzalez, and I'll let him present himself since he's our guest here in World Virtual Talks today. So, buddy, please take out the wheel.
Yeah, hello, hi everyone. My name is Dr. Diptarup Ghosh Dastidar, and well, I am a researcher, uh, games enthusiast, a musician, a singer-songwriter from Varanasi, India, and I do different kinds of tours with World Virtual Tours. I love talking about Indian myths, culture, heritage, ancient scripture, and well, that's a little bit about me.
There you go. And in case you don't know why we're here, both Darup and myself are one of the guides and scholars here in World Virtual Tours. And this is part of a series of interviews that we're launching as part of the platform to essentially get you guys to get to know us all a bit better. And Diptarup has actually joined the platform relatively recent. When was your first tour, Diptarup?
It was in May. I mean, so far as I can remember, yes. My first tour was May of well, this year. So yeah, it's not even been a full year yet.
It's not the same thing again. Can you hear me
Yeah,
still?
I
Oh,
I can
hang
hear
on.
you, but like
My
your
camera
video
has
just
just
dropped
disengaged
out.
itself for some reason. There you go. Sorry, the magic of
Right.
live TV, everybody. Yes, your tour was earlier on this year, and I think you've been now with us for roughly half a year, give or take, something like that.
Yeah, right. Like a little less than a year now. Yep.
Yes. And how are you finding it? What's your favorite thing about being part of the World Virtual Tours community?
All right. The first thing is that I was really not expecting anything when I started out my first talk, you know. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know who would be listening. I did not know whether like anything that I know or I'm sharing the things which I know. I mean, what kind of impact would it have? But then, um, well, I got a lot of messages from a lot of people, and I got a lot of love. Overall, I mean, it felt like people enjoyed. It felt like people got to know things, and in fact, they interacted with me even later on. Like some of them even reached out on social media. I had like some discussions, long discussions with some of the people who listened to me, and to be honest, uh, I think that the more I have been, giving these lessons or talks, because the last one was basically a part of an academy course, which is like right here.
There you go.
um, and I think that I'm myself getting to, know a lot about the things that I talk about. I mean, every time I present something, I explore a little bit more than I already know, just to give that little extra, a little bit of extra.
For
Yeah.
sure. But I really love what you're saying. And I think it's one of the most beautiful things about being a guide or a scholar here in World Virtual Tours. We have such a supportive community. Like you guys listening out there at home, you're like amazing. It's one of the reasons why,
Yeah.
like you say, I always try to get out of my way to get like a little bit more in, because you always feel like you want to, give back that little bit more. But Diptarup, so tell us about this academy that you've recently finished. How did you find it? What was the purpose behind it? And what did you hope people at home got from it? Because of course it's about Indian mythology, which I don't think is necessarily like the best well-known thing in the English speaking world, right?
Oh well, I doubt that. I mean, I'm pretty sure that there's a lot of people, especially in the West, who have worked a lot and who have read a lot more than me on Indian mythology. And there is a general interest, I believe, in a lot of the Western world in Indian myths or Eastern myths, so as to say. But the thing is, what really inspired me to do this was, again, my experience with the earlier talks of World Virtual Tours. Because in the earlier talks, what was happening is I was talking about the Indian epics, the Ramayana, the Mahabharata, and I realized in every single talk that I was unable to actually finish. So I'm pretty sure that the vibe I gave was that, yeah, this is it. That's the talk. That's done. But I knew that it was not done. I knew that there was so much that I could not say or I missed out on. And so, I mean, the moment we had the conversation about like, how about if we can have an academy course, uh, it just struck me that maybe in this course, the little bit that I can share, I'll be able to at least complete it or, see it to its completion. And thankfully, I think that the way I had planned it, most of the things that I had planned to speak about to let the people know in the limited amount of time that we can with the courses, I was able to do that. So I started out initially talking about the Vedic cosmos, the amazing, I mean, you can say as a fan of fantasy literature or world building, you read these stories from the ancient Indian scriptures and you see that the world that they have created, the way they had imagined not just the earth but the all the other layers out there is immense. It is I mean, just thinking about it makes you wonder. And as I had expected, I could not finish the first talk. The first lesson was incomplete, and I promised that I would finish it in the second lesson. And then the second lesson was about the 10 avatars of Lord Vishnu, one of the three major gods, Vishnu, Brahma, and Mahadev, that is Shiv. Uh, the 10 avatars of Lord Vishnu, well, it itself is a huge talk, but nevertheless, I was able to, mention all of them, and I missed out on finishing the first talk in this one. So I promised that I would finish the first talk in the third one,
I'm
where I
noticing a
talked.
pattern in here.
Yeah, you see. And so in the third one, I talked about the 19 avatars of Lord Shiv and the stories which are concerned with that. And again, I was unable to finish it. And so I decided, yes, in the last one, which is actually, it was about the Purans, which is the basis of all the earlier talks, that the text in which all these stories are encompassed, they are present in the ancient scriptures called the Puranas. And that is where I finished what I started out in the first talk. That's like what the Vedic cosmology is about, how we measure time, how we measure distance, what are the different worlds, and what are the kind of characteristics of those worlds. So I think that that will be available for a while for people to see on the website of World Virtual Tours as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So I see that you have very much gotten into the groove that many of us have experienced of, oh, if I could just have 5 more 5 more minutes. It's, I mean,
Yeah.
for people at home, honestly, it is so easy to get lost in the amount of time we have, because all of the sessions that we do are roughly 45 minutes to 50 minutes, just so we can give you enough time to ask questions, which we never have enough time to answer all of them.
Which is by the way my favorite part of the talks. I mean, when the talk actually ends and then I just open the chat up for questions, whatever, even if people are not asking me questions, even if they're saying something, it just like makes it worthwhile. And then the questions they ask, uh, talking more about that, that's the favorite, like that's my favorite part of the whole thing.
I entirely agree. I think it's because I don't know if you do this, but I learn too, because some of our viewers out there have some very interesting questions, and sometimes I leave my talks thinking, yeah, what was that about? do I need to do more research about this? I'm not sure if I'm happy
Yeah.
with my answer. I do get, really involved in this, but it goes to show that people out there really want to learn, which I think is what everything that we do here in World Virtual Tours is all about. We know that there is a desire to learn, to educate ourselves, and to do that with, high quality content, which is why, well, we organize not just the academy, but everything else. So now that we've known a bit more about how you found your footing around World Virtual Tours, let's start sharing a little bit behind the scenes so that people get to know you a bit more. So just so that everyone knows, Diptarup actually just started a new role. So congratulations, it's very well deserved. So could you please tell the
Thank you so
people,
much.
watching at home, what is your life as an academic? Like what do you do, on the day job, so to speak?
All right. So basically, I finished my thesis and I got awarded my degree in the December of 2023, and then I was on a fellowship for 1 year. And recently, just a month back, the fellowship ended, and now I have joined a college that is Sunbeam College, Baruna in Varanasi as an assistant professor, and I'm teaching literature as well as like specifically like spoken language, spoken efficiency of speaking in a way that can be effective, that can be uh, something which makes you get your point across. I mean, it's often easy to just say what you want to say, but then getting your point across to the other person, that's also very important, and often literature helps a lot in doing that. So I teach literature and I teach language in college, and well, in the evenings I often right now it's December, it's winter basically in Banaras, and winter is the time when most tourists, they also come in this place because this is the best time to come in Varanasi. And I have quite a few shows going on. So on the 24th, I have a show. On the 25th, I have a show. So I do music concerts. So that's also something that's happening. So yeah, it's teaching during the day and then performances at night and socializing in the evening, something like that.
So, precisely on that subject, because I don't think a lot of people necessarily, decide about you. Tell the people at home more. What are these performances? Because in case you guys don't know, Diptarup is an amazing musician. Like I've had the pleasure of experiencing this many a times, and he's actually pretty good. So tell them why. Like, where did this come from? How did it all come together? Because I know that like your band that you're with now, it's been a long time coming, right?
Right, right, right. Actually, the band that I'm in right now, it started when I was back in college, but then because of PhD, I had to give a break to it because, well, I was in a different location, they were in a different place, and well, if you're a researcher, it's very difficult to do anything else in that time. And after my PhD was done, I again restarted my band, and we are bringing out music as we speak, like nearly almost 2 3 months across, we are bringing out new music on YouTube. The name of my band is The Spring Leaves, and we do alternate rock, we do I mean, it's like my bandmates, they have different genres that they specialize in, but like mostly we do rock music. And apart from that, I also perform over here solo. Like in Varanasi, when I perform, I usually perform solo or I perform with my girlfriend. So she is an amazing singer, by the way.
Yes.
She's trained, like classically trained. Much of it is self-trained, but again, that is something I do not have. I'm more like a very spontaneous performer, and that's what I find interesting. Also, I mean, I think that music is also a form of telling stories. I mean, when I do these talks, I'm actually trying to tell a story. I'm not just trying to teach something. I want to present what I know in the form of a story, because I think that a story is something that stays with us. It's something that you would remember even after all the words are gone. The story remains somewhere, and that is where music comes as well. That maybe the words add to it, but it is the music that rings itself in your mind. somewhere. And so, yeah, uh, that's where it is coming from.
If not that I want to put you on the spot, but if you had to choose between, literature and music, if you ever had to give up one of these two, do you think you could?
I can't. No, that's impossible. I mean, the thing is, see, I'll tell you, there was a time when I actually didn't give up on music, but I stopped doing music the way I used to do. But the strange thing is that music doesn't give up on you. I mean, once you learn an instrument, you can't forget the instrument. Once you know how to do music, it's something you cannot forget, you cannot let go. Literature, on the other hand, is an acquired thing, more like an acquired thing for me. I got it from my grandfather, perhaps. Some people say that I've got it from my grandfather because he used to read a lot. And The thing is, literature you need to be in touch with. If I don't read for, let's say, a few months, I'll lose my touch. I'll have to, get back with my books in order to, get in the flow. But music is very spontaneous. I mean, you just ask me right now, and after 6 months I can do it once again. It's like being at home. So yeah, that's how it goes.
That's a very interesting explanation. Actually, I had never thought about that, and in a way, I find it relatable because, well, as Diptarup knows, I used to sing many years ago. Things didn't necessarily, work out, and it's very much
Yes,
lost. And
and
the
you
problem
have a
with,
nice voice. You have a
well,
really nice voice. I've heard
but
that.
you know what it is
Yes.
with voice, particularly as you age, your voice changes too, and that's awful because suddenly you are like, why do I sound like this? Like the identity
I
crisis
know,
is
I know.
is real. But you get back into it, and it's like you say, it's almost like it's back there, and yet, particularly I feel it a lot when I'm reading for pleasure, because I think people like you and I who are reading like 24/7 for work or whatever, it's different. When you're reading for research, you're like on a completely different stage of consciousness. And then you pick up a book, like, for the sake of actually reading, and it's like, how do I do this?
What is this? I mean, what kind of narration is this?
It's- yeah, it's a
Yeah.
very strange thing. Well, I am very aware that we have about 10 minutes left. We're very
Mhm.
much on a timer in here today, so I have a couple more questions for you, if that's okay, just so that people can also, get to appreciate the different depths and breadths in life. So why did you, I mean, I know this already, but explain people, why did you decide, you know what, this is what I'm going to study, and on top of that I am actually going to do a PhD about it? Because as we both know, it's
Right.
uh it's pain into the soul, mind, and body. A PhD is a hardcore thing. But why did you decide to study, the general subject that you do? What was the thing that told you one day, yeah, you know what, this is my jam?
Right. Now that you bring this, up front, I just realized. I mean, those who would know me through World Virtual Tours, they would know that I talk about mythology, about Indian texts and scriptures. Now, some of them also, like, now people will also know that, like, I do music. But well, my research is neither on music nor on mythology,
Yes.
although mythology is a part of it. So my research was on comics, Indian comics, so to speak. And the thing is that I grew up reading comics like Tintin and Asterix because they were quite common, to be very honest, in like places I've been, like West Bengal. And well, I never knew that as a literature student one could study them, and not until I finished my master's. Uh, but by the time I finished my master's, the graphic novel was on the rise here in India, at least. And I read a graphic novel which is Kari by Amruta Patil, and it really changed my perceptions about comics. It's like, is this really comics? Well, if this is comics, then I do not know much about it. And so I started studying. And that's how I translate it, because sometimes things happen in a phase. So that's at that phase, I was in the groove of studying whatever was interesting. And so I started out with that. And then, well, I finished my PhD in comic studies. Yep.
Yeah. So this is actually how Diptarup and I met, by the way, because part of
Yes,
my
yes.
research, although many people at home would know I studied the Norsemen, the Vikings, part of my research regarding culture and art is also through comics, since they're an art medium. And that's how we met. He was doing his things about Indian comics. I was
And
doing my things about the
yes,
Norse, and suddenly was like, hey, we can be friends.
what's up? And also, like, we are pretty much geeks. I got introduced to role playing games, uh, like D&D and all, because once by mistake I got to watch you playing Mythic Iceland, and I didn't know
Yes.
what is happening here. What is this Mythic Iceland? I mean, what are they doing? And then I mean, I am currently in a 2 year long campaign. Like, there's a campaign that's running for 2 years, and I'm in that campaign now. And I'm one of the players in that D&D campaign. So yeah, it's a nice
See,
hobby that I've got.
this is the unexpected pathway of friendships, everybody. But
Right.
it's one of those things. I do find though that particularly people that have maybe creative, I guess, interests always find a way of linking them all somehow. So
Exactly.
it was probably what I'm saying. Um, there you go. I don't know what's going on with my
Oh.
cat today. It's kind of dying on me every so often. I'm very sorry.
It's
It
blinking
seems to
actually.
yeah,
It's
it seems
blinking
to
on
be
you.
bear with. I don't know what is
Mhm.
doing at all. Hang on.
Oh,
Can you please
meanwhile,
hide
I
me?
thought I'd also mention that I mean, the person I play with, his name is Arvind. I don't know how. I mean, it's like I never thought I would be in touch with this side of people in my country, but Arvind, and he is developing board games right now, and he is one of the people who is actually taking D&D into the entire, like, Indian scene. He's trying to make it big out there. So kudos to Arvind. Really nice guy.
That's nice. That's really nice. And well, actually, the
Yeah,
the last question that I had for you, particularly because I feel that, since we're part of the World Virtual Tours community, a lot of our people out there like knowing about the world. And I don't know how many of our members in the audience may have traveled not just to your hometown, but the general area where you live. So, could you describe or explain in a few words what's the most awesome thing about, the area that you live in, and why maybe in the future some people should come and visit that part of the world to have an adventure of their own besides books and music?
okay. So although my hometown is in West Bengal, um, I currently stay at Varanasi. Varanasi is the oldest living city in the world. What else can I say? It
Yeah.
is the oldest living city, and there is a song that I learned from one of the boatmen over here. He says that इह बनारस बना हुआ रस है यह बनारस. So Banaras is, ras means juice, some kind of a nectar, you can say.
Mhm.
And this is a nectar that is already made up. It's like it's already there. It's ready made. All you have to do is come and drink it. So unless you come and drink it, you will never know what this means. All right. And you have to drink it ghata ghat. So just like you drink water or something. And this is also a very strange land, a strange place. Varanasi, this is where the river Ganga flows. Um, a lot of people have come and done their sadhana or their meditation, that tap over here. And well, if you believe in that kind of thing, then there's a lot of energy that centers around this place. And there's a strange pull. I mean, if you have stayed here for even 7 days or a month and you go back, you'll find this place pulling you back in. Also, another very interesting thing about this place is that this is one of the very few places, I think, in the world where people come to die. I mean, there are
Oh, of
literally
course.
buildings over here where Moksha Bhavan, Mumuksha Bhavan, where if you come to these buildings, you have to die within 7 days. And they'll keep you for 7 days, obviously. a few days basically, and you have to die within that time. And people, the moment they come here, they are ready to leave their bodies, and it is said to be like a, all your sins would be purified. Your body, your soul will be purified if you die over here. It, a lot of it might be about belief, but the energy of this land is really something. So you must come visit this place. Among other places, there's lots of interesting places to visit in India. India is a diverse country with diverse number of, like a diverse amount of people, a diverse number of cultures, all kinds of religions, all kinds of people, all kinds of colors and fragrances. And I really invite all my friends to come here. And if they come here, then do get in touch with me. Let me know how your experience was, and I would be really happy to have a chat about that. So
Right,
yeah.
but as I'm sure you've all have noticed, what Diptarup has essentially said and done is the oldest trick in the marketing book of, "Ooh, I can really tell you why this place is cool. You really need to come and figure it out for
Yes,
yourself." Although, it is absolutely true. I mean, I think particularly in Western culture, the idea of traveling to India seems like a very mystical kind of thing. But there is just so much stuff to do out there that I really really hope people will open up to this idea a bit more and engage with it. And well, I'm getting the warning. Your your time is running short. So
I can
here
see
is the
that.
last thing
Right.
I have for Deep Tarup today, and it's really purely out of curiosity because I don't actually know the answer to this question myself. So, my question is, and it's a tricky question, I'm sorry. Out of all of the characters of Indian myth, which one is your favorite and why?
Oh my God. Oh my God. Um, okay, so to be very honest, if uh, uh, I mean, what can I say? This is a tricky question. Gosh. Okay, so uh, if I have to really explain this, it would take an evening and a night, and because there's a lot of stories. Without stories, nothing happens. But well, I will divide this into two types of characters. The first is someone who is not human, a god, and the second is a human. I mean, someone who takes the human form at least. um, so the god whom I really associate with is Lord Shiv, Mahadev, Bholenath, and Shiv resides in Kashi, Varanasi, this which is this city. Lord Shiv is the Adi Yogi. He is the first yogi. If you've heard of yoga, well, Shiv is the one who invented it, essentially. And he is someone who is tolerant to everything, who can uh, take all the poison of the world and keep himself completely sane and fine. He is a source of a lot of courage and a lot of wisdom and self-reliance. It's like I feel like Shiv is home. Shiv is a lot like home. Shiv is like it just gives you a feeling that the entire world is in your control. It's like that's the reason why I think Lord Shiv is very close to my heart. Also, he has different forms. Some very peaceful, some very dangerous, and all of them are representative, like, of the same person. End of the day. And if it comes to someone who had taken the human form, it is in the epic Mahabharat. In Mahabharat, there is a character that is Karn. And I find the character of Karn, who is essentially the eldest son of Kunti and therefore the eldest of the Pandavas, but he ends up being in the wrong side of the Kauravas. He ends up fighting his brothers, and he ends up getting killed by Arjuna. Arjuna himself is a wonderful character, by the way. He is the reason we have the Bhagavad Gita, which is the holy text of India. But Karn, on the other hand, is known for his charity. He knew that he was doing something wrong, and he compensated or tried to compensate it with charity. He was known as Danveer Karn. He gave everything away. The thing which made him immortal, he had a shield of gold that was stuck to his body. He gave that away. He gave his immortality away. just because, well, it was his principle to do so. So yeah, that is the reason why I think Karn is my favorite characters among so many other characters. I'm pretty sure would come up if we had a conversation. So yeah, that's a little bit about the two characters. A very tricky question. My God, there's going to be a lot of backlash if I had other people listening to me right now. Hmm.
Can you hear me now?
So
Yeah,
yeah.
there you go. I'm very sorry. My camera keeps on coming in and out, and I don't know why. But anyway, that was fascinating, and I'm glad that you got the chance to explain that, because I have obviously heard from you many stories about, mythology. And I think when you study mythology, since someone who does that as well from the perspective of the Norse, you do take a certain shine to some people rather than others. And it's you know it's not necessarily that the other characters aren't cool or interesting, but there is something that resonates, right? And I really like this approach that, that you're saying. This character is like home, is all accepting and kind of open to the whole universe, which is actually very wholesome. That's a very wholesome thing. So, this is very inspirational, I feel. I'm not sure this was the point that we were trying to put across on this interview, but there you go. Here you have it. Life on World Virtual Tours, inspirations for all kinds of walks of life. And on that
Yes.
front, folks, I'm afraid to say we're pretty much wrap up to the end of the time. So, Diptarup, any final words that you would like to, reach out to the audience before we say goodbye? The floor is yours.
Okay. Well, first of all, thanks a lot, Lily. I would like to thank you. I would like to thank World Virtual Tours, Emiliano, and Luisa, who have been so kind to me, and they have been so supportive and helpful. I mean, every time I have a question, I just like directly ping them, and they are very prompt to, respond to me and help me. And they really make this experience of working with World Virtual Tours so easy and so effortlessly amazing. Um, and yeah, right now I think this academy course is still running. It will run for, I think, up till, I don't know, 16th, I guess, maybe mid December. And you can still listen to the four lessons that I've given over here. And I really hope that in the coming times, I'll be able to show you a little bit of, the places over here, like the Ghats of Varanasi, or religious places like Sarnath, which is like a Buddhist, space altogether. And so many other places. I really hope to, be able to show you the places that are around me, and show you the magic of the cities and the spaces of India.
That's awesome. That's a wonderful message. And on that note, guys, I'm afraid this is a wrap. But the pedal will be with you on World Virtual Tours shortly with more talks, with more adventures. And, hopefully you will be able to join him and discover a world of wonders. And on that note, in case we don't see you before the holidays, happy holidays to everybody. Thank you so much, Diptarup, for agreeing to be the first test subject, I guess, of our interviews here.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure.
And on that note, we shall love you and leave you, everybody. Have a lovely rest of your day. Take care of yourselves, and we'll see you very soon. Bye bye.